Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. There are now 2 departure times from Pangbourne Airport to Seattle. The first annual Washington State Swap Meet hosted by the City of East Wenatchee launched today at the Eastmont Community fourplex off of Grant Road. Unseasonably warm and sunny weather is upon us, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. The Wenatchee Valley Fire Department was very busy overnight, fighting 4 fires in just 4 hours. Wenatchee Valley Fire Chief Brian Brett was in the NCWLIFE studios earlier today with more on those blazes, which included 1 serious injury.
Well, the first one came in yesterday afternoon up in Dryden, Chelan County Fire District 6, and it went second alarm, so we went up there to assist on that structure fire. Upon returning from that, we were dispatched to a structure fire up on Birchvale Street in a detached dwelling. The homeowner fortunately had a couple fire extinguishers and a garden hose and was able to help keep the fire small while crews responded. We were able to confine and extinguish that without any extension to the house and checked it with thermal imaging cameras to make sure there wasn't any further extension. And then tragically, about 1:45 last night in the North End Safe Park, we were dispatched to a trailer on fire with occupants reportedly with burn injuries and animals trapped inside. When fire crews arrived, the trailer was significantly involved in spreading to the adjacent trailer. The occupants were able to self-evacuate, however, suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns. One of them was flown to Harborview Medical Center last night to the burn unit, and our crews searched for the missing animals while we were putting the fire out, but they were unable to find the animals. We assumed they were able to evacuate themselves. And tragically, it was just an accident. The occupants were storing gasoline in portable water containers, and they became confused and put gasoline on the stove, which was the ignition source. And that's never a good idea to store gasoline in your house. It's a common cause of burn injuries for people because the vapor density of gasoline is low. The vapors, you can't see them. People are unaware when they pilot an ignition that they're actually standing in gasoline vapors. After that fire, Ballard Ambulance reported a brush fire along the Wenatchee River Bridge as they were coming back from an incident about 2:30 in the morning. Our crews responded and found a 100 by 100 brush fire along the riverbank, human caused. We were able to extinguish it. Fortunately, the humidity recovery is high right now in the nights and it didn't spread.
The Grant County Health District has issued a water quality warning advisory in Moses Lake as blue algae may be blooming in nearly every advisory zone. The Health District launched a new monitoring system for blue algae earlier this summer that now divides Moses Lake into 6 sections. Currently, North Moses Lake, Middle Moses Lake, Lewis Horn, Parker Horn, and South Moses Lake are affected in that advisory. The Health District plans to take samples from each affected section next week, and they said the results will be posted on their website and Facebook page once they have them. For now, warning signs will be posted and they will remain up until 2 weeks of sampling show toxin levels are below the recreational guidelines, and the Health District reminds folks to be cautious around the lake and keep pets out of the water. Congresswoman Kim Schreier is heading to Manson tomorrow to celebrate the end of India's 20% tariff on American apple exports. In June, it was announced that the tariffs would be lifted after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the U.S. The apple export market from Washington State to India plummeted after the tariffs were put in place, going from $120 million in 2017 to less than $1 million this season. Schreier, along with U.S. Senators Maria Cantwell and Patty Murray, have long worked towards the removal of those tariffs. Schreier will head to former Chelan County Commissioner Doug England's orchard and will also be joined by Chelan Douglas Farm Bureau President Vicki Malloy tomorrow afternoon, and all will highlight the impact this change will have on Washington fruit growers. Pangbourne Memorial Airport celebrated the return of the 6 a.m. departure flight. The airport brought in Bomber's Coffee to make the morning a little bit more special for those on what the airport called a much-needed addition. Beginning yesterday, Alaska Airline flights from East Wenatchee to Seattle are offered now at 6 a.m. and 1:45 p.m. Return flights from Seattle to East Wenatchee are offered at 12:08 p.m. and then a late-night flight at 10:55 p.m. The additional flights were announced earlier this year. When we come back, Confluence Health is bringing in a new vice president of philanthropy. We'll tell you who it is. And in honor of Grandparents' Day, the Ripple Foundation will be hosting an event called Elders Speak at the Snowy Owl Theater on Sunday. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Hi everybody, Dan Coos alongside Jesse Coble from Alpine Air. My heat pump there's like steam coming out of it. It's making weird noises. Is this something I need to be concerned about?
No, Dan, that's normal operation. Refrigeration technology steals heat from the outside, transfers it to the inside, and it creates frost on your heat pump. The defrost cycle melts that off, which creates steam and a little bit of noise.
That makes sense. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
We're turning up the heat with the hottest deals of the year. Right now, during the hot summer clearance sale, only at Click It RV. #1 in sales and service. The best RV brands. Over 1,000 to choose from. And the best deals of the year on remaining 2023 model year-end clearance with incredible 30% off. Brand new RVs discounted up to 30%. Save thousands. Plus, no payments until 2024. During the hot summer clearance sale. Now, only at Click It RV. 5 superstore locations. Hurry in today.
Confluence Health is bringing in a new vice president of philanthropy. Suzanne Carte-Crocroft will soon join the Confluence Health Foundation after 25 years working in nonprofit organizations in Alaska. Most recently as the foundation president and region chief of philanthropy for the Providence, Alaska Foundation based in Anchorage. The title of the new position is new, but the role has previously been held by the foundation executive trustee. Carte-Crocroft will lead the foundation, which has a main focus on Confluence Health's philanthropic efforts. She will replace foundation executive trustee Abel Noah, who will be retiring in January of 2024. In honor of Grandparents' Day, the Ripple Foundation will be hosting an event called Elders Speak at the Snowy Owl Theater on Sunday. There will be 5 featured elders there to each tell their unique story in hopes that the wisdom they've accumulated over the many years of life can help someone of a younger generation. The event will make its way to the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center on October 12th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. with a half-hour social beginning at 6:30 p.m. Refreshments will be provided at the socials and donations are encouraged, and this weekend's event will be held from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. with a half-hour social beginning at 1:30. For more information on the event and the featured elders, visit the Ripple Foundation's website. The first annual Washington State Swap Meet, hosted by the City of East Wenatchee, launched today at the Eastmont Community Fourplex off of Grant Road. The Swap Meet is a 3-day-long festival where the general public can come together to exchange or purchase goods from a wide variety of vendors. Registered vendors include Dee's Beans, On the Rocks, Kate's Creations, Bob's and Hats, and more. The operating hours for the remaining 2 festival days will be tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then again Sunday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The event is free to attend and will also feature a beer garden, swap hop dance, and live entertainment. Coming up next in tonight's feature story, we will introduce you to a Wenatchee Pigeon racer, and we'll tell you what his unique hobby is all about. Sunny with above normal temperatures expected through the weekend and all of next week. All the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
Raising a family may have seemed overwhelming to your parents, but they weren't. Coach, teacher, life guide, caregiver. Family takes care of family. And as the circle of life continues, you now are their caregiver. It may seem overwhelming, but we're here to help you find the support services necessary so you can provide quality care to your elders.
Call Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington at 1-800-572-4459.
As the sun sets on another hot summer, let the experts at Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa winterize and close your pool. Closing your swimming pool is the most important service to get right. Letting the professionals from Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa close your pool will ensure that you won't cost yourself thousands of dollars in damage next year. Want to save a little money? Consider dropping the water level yourself and save. Don't wait. Blue Lagoon's pool closing schedule is filling up quickly. Call today.
In tonight's feature story, what if I told you there's a national racing league for pigeons? It's a bit surprising, right? But what's even more surprising is just how high stakes and high cost the sport truly is. NCWLIFE News met with Wenatchee pigeon racer and American Racing Pigeon Union board member Jeff Life to hear more about what goes into this unique hobby.
My name is Jeff Life. I have been involved in the pigeon racing sport for quite a few years, and I race them competitively. I'm part of the national organization. I'm a board member on the American Racing Pigeon Union. The sport, it's moved a long ways over the time frame I've been doing it. It used to be all manual clocks. Nowadays it's all electronic. How we get our birds is a lot of them we breed ourselves, and we breed them from birds that we've probably purchased from other people around the world, possibly. I can get a pigeon that bred in Belgium or Holland is where almost all the famous pigeon racers are, and that's where all of the big names come. So if you have someone flying in Japan and he comes and looks at my birds, we can talk about each other's pedigrees because they're all from Holland and Belgium. But we'll purchase those breeders and we can mail them through the mail, the USPS. I can mail a pigeon to anybody in the country. It'll be there in 2 days. And I start training them. The first training toss, I put them in the crates. I turn them loose in the driveway just so they get used to not being in a panic. Because if they come out of that box and they're scared and crazy, and who knows what they'll do. My next toss will maybe be only a couple 100 yards. The next one will be half a mile, and then I'll do another one at about a mile, and then I jump across the river up on Wenatchee Heights and Mission Ridge. Then we start training them at 50 miles and then 90 miles, and then you start the first race at 100, but we don't stop at 300 miles. We keep going out to 400, 500, 600, 700 miles we will race from. There's his band that went on when he was probably a week old. And this band here is his race band. And there's a bump on one side of it there that you can see that big bump, and that's where the actual chip is that clocks him when he gets home. And it's a read-write chip, so I can change that and put it on a different bird if I want to. How we figure our races is it's yards per minute. So I fly from this location. I have a GPS, very accurate measurement down to like a yard my landing board. So my distance when it shows up on a race sheet shows that distance. Now if somebody that lives 5 miles further away from the race point than I do, he has his own birds, he has his own antenna, he has his own clock, and he has his own distance. And how we determine who wins is yards per minute. When we race, we get together on a short race the day before. Here we all come to my house and we all individually scan every one of those birds into the clocking system so we know what bird went into the race. And then they drive all night to wherever they're going to be released the next morning on a truck. So when we're flying the 500, 600, 700 mile races, they're 2 days in transport to get there. But the award system for us, it's a piece of paper, and years ago we used to give trophies, but then everybody figured out you got all these trophies that you don't, your wife doesn't want. It's all in the payout. And how many birds are in the race. A friend of mine in Yakima down in Moxie has a race, and he started with 3,000 pigeons in his loft. So he can have $1 million payout. You get out of it exactly what you put into it. If you want to do it halfway, that's where you're going to be in the race sheet, halfway up, because you just can't dominate if you aren't fully committed to doing it.
Let's take a check now of your North Central Washington weather forecast. What a gorgeous Friday. And really, if you think back to our work week or our week, it was a beautiful week weather-wise as we wind down summer of 2023. Today, just fantastic. This is a beautiful shot from our Hay Canyon Sky-Fi Tower camera looking back at Kashmir, and look at all the blue sky today. We did have a few rogue clouds out there today, but all in all, just a beautiful summer day. And this trend, folks, it's going to continue. We're going to see quiet weather, not just, well, we saw it today, but not just the weekend and Monday, but even beyond Monday into about Thursday of next week. Might see some high clouds on Monday, but both Saturday and Sunday are going to be mid to upper 80s, and we're going to stay in those mid 80s even coming up on Monday. We'll talk more about the extended part of our forecast coming up in a little bit. Today, 82 beautiful degrees. That's a couple of degrees above where we should be at 80 for this time of year. Our record high, 93, and that was set in 1993. 57 this morning, pretty much in line with our normal low of 55. Record low, 44, and that was set in 1962. Sunrise now just before 6:30 in the morning, and we'll set tonight just before 7:30. So our daylight is dwindling quickly as we race towards the first day of fall. Temperatures tomorrow, though, they're going to feel more like probably early, maybe even midsummer. 87s for Moses Lake and Ephrata, 86 in Quincy. Wenatchee, we'll see 85 degrees tomorrow, so a nice warm up. Entiat as well, 85. The warm spot, Ohme, almost 90 tomorrow with a high temperature of 88. All right, let's take you through the week now, or our next 7 days, I should say. Tonight, clear skies, big area. Look at our top of our ridge going well up into northern British Columbia. Clear tonight, mild, low temperatures right around that 60-degree mark. Getting you into Saturday, the beginning of a very long stretch of nice weather. Sunny and warmer on Saturday. Hardly a cloud in the sky, a lot like today, except a little bit warmer, highs in the mid-80s. As we get you into Sunday, not much is going to change, except we will see some high clouds on Sunday, but it's going to be warmer. We're seeing high temperatures in the upper 80s. Ohme, Moses Lake, you might see 90 or above as we end the weekend on Sunday. And kicking off our next work week on Monday, there is just a little trough of low pressure, and that'll drag a few clouds through Washington State on Monday. We'll call it partly cloudy. Still going to be above normal, though, with high temperatures in the mid-80s. For Tuesday, back to the mostly sunny skies as that ridge stays up and over the Pacific Northwest. We'll see highs in the low 80s on Tuesday, so a bit of a cool down. Not too much, though. Not going to last very long either, because by Wednesday, we're going to see temperatures, well, low 80s, but maybe mid-80s on Wednesday with mostly sunny skies. Just going to be nice by midweek next week. And Thursday, more of the same, except just a couple of degrees warmer as we get you into the end of the forecast. All kinds of sunshine, more of a westerly flow into Washington State on Thursday. Still going to be nice and mild, though, with high temperatures then in the mid-80s. All right, 7-day forecast now, and we will see 57 overnight tonight, 85, lots of sunshine tomorrow, 60 the overnight low, 88 with just some high clouds on Sunday, very mild overnight, 86 for Monday, partly cloudy, and then right back to all that sunshine. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, low to mid-80s Tuesday and Wednesday, and 85 your high temperature on Thursday. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, Eric Granstrom with a look at sports and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
It's the pickleball event of the year, Shake and Bake by the Lake at Wapato Point Resort in Manson, October 6th through 8th. Open to the public for all ages and skill levels. Register now until September 15th. Go to moretomanson.com and click on the events link to register, or go to pickleballbrackets.com. Book a stay and see all the amazing amenities Wapato Point Resort has to offer. Walk to Manson restaurants, wineries, and more. It's the Wapato Point Resort Shake and Bake by the Lake Pickleball Tournament, October 6th through 8th in Manson.
Hibis Public Market is on the move to make parking, dining, shopping, and events an even better experience for our community. Check out the progress that has already been made towards the revitalization. The Westside Project is well on its way, but we need your help to get over the finish line. All donations are greatly appreciated and can be made online at our website or in person at the business office. We want to thank those who have already partnered with us. You are helping make the place we love a better place for our community to meet.
Mike Ford provided the offense, Cal Raleigh provided the defense, and Luis Castillo pitched just well enough to help the Mariners beat Tampa Bay 1-0 last night. Early on, it looked like Seattle's offense would produce all night long as the Mariners had 2 hits in the first, a couple more in the second, but Mike Ford's RBI single in that second inning would be all the scoring for the game.
Arena really and low and straight away for Ford. And back up the middle. Into center field. RBI single, Mike Ford. Mariners have a 1-0 lead. 28 of 30. There he is. Got a great jump. Throw down to second. Got him! Cal Raleigh, Josh Rojas. What a connection. So Josh Lowe thrown out for just the 3rd time this season. Down the line. It's only 3:15 down there. Hey, down kid zone! What a play! Got him, 1 down. Never quit on it. Beautifully done. Gallant effort to say the least.
Now Dom Canzone with a huge catch in left field in that Cincinnati series, and this catch right here about as good as it gets. No regard for the wall and just catches it. Ooh. Takes his legs out.
A big 2-2 pitch to Harold Ramirez. Game on the line, the pitch. Swing and miss, he got him! Mariners win it 1-0, and they pick up a half game on idle Houston. What a victory tonight. Great game by Cal Raleigh defensively, by the fellas defensively, and Mike Ford's RBI stands up from back in the second inning.
Seattle and Tampa Bay are going at it again here right now, as a matter of fact, on Root Sports Northwest. Well, Seattle's win, that is, moved them within a half game of idle Houston in the American League West. The only other game in the division last night saw Los Angeles edge Cleveland 3-2. Seattle has a 2-game cushion for the second wild card spot after yesterday's win. Toronto remains a half game ahead of Texas for the 3rd spot. Yankees fell to Detroit 10-3 to drop to 7 games back. Turning to football, here's a look at the college football Saturday schedule. 8th-ranked Washington hosts Tulsa at Husky Stadium tomorrow at 2. That's on the Pac-12 network. Number 19 Wisconsin pays its first ever visit to Martin Stadium in Pullman to face Washington State 4:30 tomorrow on ABC. Eastern Washington is on the road at Fresno State at 6, while Central Washington visits Montana Tech. Seahawks kick off the NFL season Sunday with a home game against the LA Rams. Kickoff set for 1:25 on Fox TV. Well, the prep football weekend got underway last night for Moses Lake. The Mavericks scored 15 unanswered points in the second quarter, held on to beat Kamaikan on the road 15-14. The Wenatchee Panthers game against Mount Baker was moved up today. In fact, they're playing right now at Lebofto Field of the Apple Bowl because of Fiestas Mexicanas happening right next door at Triangle Park. Coach Scott Devereaux says they learned a lot from their opening night 42-7 loss to Skyline.
Skyline's a very good football team, and we learned a lot about ourselves. You know, the film helped us improve this week. Our young linemen saw things where we made some mistakes in the run game and the pass pro game. Receivers, we had some new starting receivers that learned some things based on their alignments and routes, and it was a great learning experience for us.
Mount Baker has been coming to Wenatchee's summer team camp for several years, and Devereaux says there's no mystery when the two teams meet tonight.
I think we scrimmaged them the 5 days of camp probably at least 3 times. And I've known Coach Lepper a long time. He's a great guy. I know his staff. They're great guys. They coach their kids well. They do really good things with those kids at Mount Baker, and so. That's one reason I like to scrimmage them, is because of the respect we have for each other, and they do things the right way, and their kids are tough, and they're scrappy, and they're a bunch of wrestlers, a lot of them, and there's no die in those guys. They're going to fight to the very end, and they had a chance to beat Royal City last year in the state championship, and not many people get close to those guys, and they were in the game.
Wenatchee and Mount Baker underway right now. Also in the Big Nine tonight, Davis is at Ellensburg while Eisenhower travels to Cedar Woolley. Sunnyside is hosting Post Falls. West Valley is home against Federal Way tomorrow at 1 o'clock, while Eastmont travels to Timberline at 2. Now, the focus was a little different at the Wildcats practice yesterday as coach and new dad Mike Don introduced the world to he and his wife Bailey's new baby girl.
This is Morgan Kaylin Don. Born last Tuesday, so she's making her appearance on TV with me. Birth experience probably more traumatizing for her than me, but it was awesome, and mom's doing well, and just enjoying, sleepless nights. So I've taken 2 weeks off from school, so I just come down for practice this week, and last week I only got to go to Thursday's practice and Friday's game, so I missed the first 3 days because we were in the hospital. But other than that, it's been kind of business as usual. Next week, got to go back to work full time, so we'll see how that goes.
Don says he was thrilled with how his coaches and players rallied to get a win in Meade last week, while he was a little bit preoccupied.
I was happy the coaches did a great job of kind of holding down the fort while I was out. There's not a lot of times where I've missed football in my life, and this is probably one of the best reasons I could come up with to be home and not here. But, the coaches did a great job holding it down. The kids did a good job. We had some week one mistakes that we got to clean up, and we've been working through this week. But I think we're a step or two away from scoring 50-plus in that first game. So I think we're pretty close to where we want to be. We just got to continue to get better.
Timberline comes in with a 1-0 record after a win over Kelso last week. Don expects the game to come down to what happens up front.
Defensively, we knew coming in they'd be pretty good. They got some really talented kids. They've got a D tackle who's committed to Idaho, big guy, and they've got a linebacker / DN, 6'3", 235, who, he's getting looked at. I think he's got a walk-on offer at Wazoo, and he could end up being an FCS caliber kid. So, they got some talent, and they got some kids who fly around. Uh-oh, we're waking up. They got some talent and some kids who fly around, and we think defensively they're going to be real good. Offensively, they're running a new scheme this year, so I think they're still working the kinks out. And we'll see. They got a nice running back who just transferred in from their rival school, and I think they're going to be a solid team. We had this one circled coming into the year. We knew this is a big game for us.
Eastmont and Timberline kick off tomorrow at 2 o'clock on the west side of the hill. Caribou Trail League schedule begins at 6 o'clock with Ohme and LaSalle. Later at 7, Cashmere's hosting Deer Park. Meridian's at Chelan. Quincy visits Ephrata, and Tonasket is at Cascade. CWAC tonight. Sela is on the road for a non-league game at Okanagan. That game kicks off at 6. B-League football kicked off earlier today. Waterville hosting the Selkirk team. Manson's at Kennetas tonight, while Lake Roosevelt visits Highland. Brewster takes on Liberty Bell. ACH is at Aniat, and Bridgeport hosts Oakville tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Taking a look at the Les Schwab Prep Girls Soccer scoreboard from last night. Meade blanked Eastmont. Cashmere edged Ephrata. Quincy topped Wahluke. Cle Elum shut out Cascade. Ohme beat Brewster. Lake Roosevelt topped Bridgeport by a final of 5-3. Now coming up tomorrow, Quincy visits Mabton at 11 a.m. while Ephrata hosts Royal, and Lake Roosevelt plays at Ohme. Chelan is at Bear Creek at noon. The 1 o'clock games have Ingram at Wenatchee. Meade visits Moses Lake, and Cashmere travels to LaSalle. Eastmont plays at Central Valley tomorrow afternoon at 2. On the prep volleyball courts, it was a night of sweeps. Sela over Eastmont. Moses Lake down Prosser. Quincy quieted Wahluke. Ephrata blanked Ohme. Waterville Mansfield took 3 from Wilson Creek. Eastmont's on the road in the Sundome in Yakima tomorrow for a tournament. Cashmere, Chelan, Moses Lake, and Ohme are all at a big tournament at Freeman. Waterville Mansfield will visit Elmira Cooley Heartline tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Well, the Tri-City Americans come to town to take on the Wenatchee Wild in the only exhibition game of the Western Hockey League for the Wild. That'll be at the Town Toyota Center. They'll drop the puck at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. You want information or tickets, go to WenatcheeWildHockey.com. Also, Wenatchee Valley Super Bowl season is coming down to the next to the last weekend this weekend. Pepsi, Mod, Mayhem, and fireworks tomorrow night at WVSO, featuring Rockstar Energy B-Mods, Plum Perfect Road Runners, Northwest Vintage Modified, Zero Handicap Youth Road Runners. Gates open at 4:30, racing at 6. Don't forget fireworks, so folks up on the Fancher Heights area can get their dogs inside. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a safe weekend and a happy Friday. Well, be sure and join us here Monday morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley when I will not be in this chair. Dan Kuntz will be propped up in this chair if we have to, but he'll be back. So be sure and tune in for that Monday. We'll get you up to date on what happened over the weekend in sports and news and much more. It's right here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley to start off your Monday on the NCWLIFE channel. Be sure and tune in.
And that will do it for tonight's broadcast. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us and have a great weekend.